Welcome, football fanatics, to a spine-chilling episode. Brace yourselves for a ghoulish ride through haunted stadiums of Match Week 10 in the English Premier League, where the specters of victory and defeat clash in a dance of the undead. I'm Redbeard. This is Targo.
What's up,
Or
guys?
should I say Ted Lasso?
I believe and believe.
This is a special Halloween episode of Brews and Banter FC, and it starts right now.
Right now. All right, let's move on to the big game, man. It was the 191st edition of the Manchester Derby. We had Manchester United, Man City playing at Old Trafford. This one, it ended 3-0 for Man City.
And that's what, 4 out of 5 wins for City, and they're not close. United got 1 win, I think it was last season.
They got 1 win last season, yep, at Old Trafford.
This is not a derby anymore of late. Like this is like the Manchester mismatch. This is not Manchester Derby. Like this game wasn't even close. It probably could have been 6-0.
Oh, yeah.
United were that. I'm not saying City were that good. I'm saying United were that bad.
So let's start with the lineup here. Erik ten Hag, I feel like went with a very interesting lineup here for Manchester United. So Johnny Evans, Harry Maguire were in the center of that defense with Victor Lindelof on the left. He had Raphael Varane and the left back, Reguilon, sitting on the bench. Do you think Varane starting with Lindelof as center back and Reguilon starting as left back, does that make any kind of difference in this game?
To be honest, with the history of what I've seen from Reguilon, I would have probably kept Lindelof.
Okay.
And I assume, and I probably shouldn't assume, that Ten Hag is looking at the chemistry between Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire rather than Raphael Varane coming in and not having that chemistry. I mean, your defense is so bad, you'd think you would go with 2 people that can actually count on each other and know where they're going to be. That's the only thing I could think of, but you got a point. Raphael Varane is a world-class player and probably shouldn't be on the bench for a match this big.
I mean, he's got how many Champions Leagues, a World Cup? Just saying. When asked about it, Erik ten Hag just said tactics. It was tactics. His tactics failed this game.
Some of his other quotes.
So he didn't start Antony, which I know you're a fan of. He didn't start Mason Mount. Again, I would probably agree with those decisions, but they did come on late, which again we'll get into.
I thought it was odd that he started Amrabat and Eriksen with Bruno.
Eriksen was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Eriksen was.
Yeah. That was more interesting than not starting Mount or Antony in this match.
Well, after a cagey kind of 20 minutes, both teams having a few chances, which I will say the first opening minutes were probably United's best minutes. United would concede a penalty on the 25th minute after Højlund held back Rodri off of a free kick. This one went to VAR. VAR told the ref to go to the monitor and look at it, so they sent the ref to the monitor to look at it. Is this a foul for you?
No. I mean, maybe, but there is literally, if you watch it in real time, there's 4 other players doing the exact same thing to each other on both sides.
Here's what I'll say.
The only person that went to the ground was Rodri.
Let me interrupt for a second.
Yeah.
Is it a foul? Yes. Does this happen every game multiple times in the box? Yes. And fouls are not given.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those, you see them called maybe on outside the box. Inside the box, you see all the players kind of doing it.
Usually it's called the other direction.
And so it was one of those, yeah, Højlund holds back Rodri. I guess they said because he could have made a play on the ball.
What, the ball was 20 feet over his head. There's
Yeah, I
no
don't think it was
way he
that
could get
far. It
anywhere
wasn't
near
that
that ball.
far.
Højlund is not even looking at him. He just puts his arm out and catches Rodri. It is not a penalty whatsoever. I don't care who you are. I'm sorry. Why does Manchester City keep getting these soft penalties all the time? All the time.
So fun fact that they said it during the game. I can't remember the exact year, but that was like Man City's first penalty at Old Trafford for like 40 years or something like that.
Okay. I'm saying in the Premier League as a whole, City seem to get more soft penalties than any other team.
But the reason they're giving PGMOL is
Yeah.
why it was given. It was because Rodri could have made a play on the ball. Because later in the game, there's a similar instance where Haaland tried to make a run into a box, and Maguire's just bear hugging him, not letting him run. Haaland falls down. The ball gets played to the middle. VAR said nope, he couldn't have made a play on the ball. A foul's a foul, I guess is my question. Like, isn't a foul a foul? Doesn't matter where it's at?
Well, so if it's a bear hug and you go down, yes, that's a foul.
That's a foul. That was an interesting one for me. This is, again, consistency, man. I preach about it all the time. Like, stick to it. Yeah. If stopping a player from making a run's a foul, okay, well then call it the next time it happens, and maybe we'll get rid of it in the game.
Yeah, the biggest part for me is the reasoning. Yes, is he could have made a play on the ball, but if you watch that, there is no way in hell, unless he can jump like Michael Jordan or Cristiano Ronaldo, that he even comes close to getting a head on that ball.
Oh, hell yeah, Rodri can jump like that, so he's definitely getting to that ball.
Logic of the PGMOL. Yeah.
Rodri's definitely getting there. Duh.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But Haaland, the PK was given. Haaland steps up, takes it. I will say Onana had some fantastic saves in that first half. Beautiful save off of a header from Haaland.
After that Champions League game midweek, I feel like it has spurred something in him because he was on fire. Like, this game could have been 7-8-0 if it wasn't for his acrobatics and goal. He was fantastic today.
He was either fantastic or Haaland was wasteful.
It's probably a bit of both.
I don't know.
But sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Haaland would make it to just into the second half. It was pretty much a deja vu for that fantastic save Onana had, except this time it went in. Haaland at the back post, lovely chip from Bernardo Silva. Can't give that guy two chances, man.
Easy as you like.
Yeah, and then the third goal would come after a well-parried Rodri shot. Fell to Haaland, and he would pass the ball across for Phil Foden for him just to give it a little tap-a-roo into the back of the net.
Tap it in.
I will say United probably had a couple chances. I remember one in first half. Scott McTominay forced a good save off of Ederson.
Rashford got in behind once. Could have done better. But that's all that I can think of.
Højlund got in behind once and had a kind of a bad touch.
Yeah. But he did all that himself. Like, that was not team play at all. So
I know there's a moment you want to talk about with your favorite player.
Oh, yeah. Jeremy Doku?
Yep. Your other favorite player.
Yeah, I know. But it was really Jeremy Doku, who essentially shook Anthony out his boots. And
he did what Anthony tries to do.
Yeah, but he did it to him. And then Anthony literally just runs over to him and swings his foot at him.
A straight-up hack. Straight up hack.
Yeah, like, if you're watching it live, you just see the frustration. Like, if this was a cartoon, you would have seen everything boil up to the top, the steam come out his ears, and then he just went over and kicked him. It was like, come on, what are you, like 7, 5 years old? Come on, man. Yeah. Sums him up as a player.
I know you have a little bit of a rant you want to go on, so I'll let you do that.
About the game?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, City dominated this match, but pretty much everything for Manchester United was poor. Like, it was poor. Before I go into a negative rant, I got to give some positives out, right? Bernardo Silva, man of the match performance. Haaland had 2 goals and an assist. Bernardo Silva still got the man of the match award. That's how good he was. He looked like himself mixed with Kevin De Bruyne in this match, just spraying balls everywhere. And then Gvardiol, man, he makes defending. He's like William Saliba. These two just make defending look like they're like half asleep. It's like effortless. But, I mean, let's start with the fans. The City fans were louder than the Manchester United fans at Old Trafford. I could hear the City fans the whole match. I barely ever heard the United fans.
What did United fans have to cheer about?
But this is City we're talking about.
Just saying, what did
City.
United fans have to cheer about, man?
City all the time gets like smacked around by comments about how terrible their fan base is. But they were still louder than the Manchester United fans. How do you expect your team to come back?
I know you always shit on City fans, and here you are giving them praise for being loud at Old Trafford. So
I gotta give credit where credit's due, but I also got to shit on United fans.
Who says we're biased? Not me.
Yeah, right? I'll give credit where credit's due. But then United looked uninspired and awful. Like, watching them off the ball is like a disjointed person. Like, if your joints don't attach, you just kind of sit there.
You're disjointed, one would say.
Right? There was no movement off the ball. Even the simple passes were behind players. They couldn't do anything. The players yelled at one another. You see Bruno all over the field. He's yelling back and forth with people. And then
who should be captain of Manchester United? Because I think we both agree it shouldn't be Bruno.
Honestly, I don't know. Because this whole team sucks right now. No one's taking ownership of anything, so, give it back to Harry Maguire. He's been playing good for 4 games straight.
I was thinking Christian Eriksen, maybe.
Maybe Casemiro, but I mean, rumors are that he's doesn't like
get out of there, anyway. Man.
Yeah. I'm going to start the bandwagon for Marcus Rashford getting benched.
Ooh.
Starting it now.
Ooh.
He's been absolutely awful this season. I know you said he's streaky, but piss him off, man. Bench him.
You know who has more goals than Marcus Rashford?
Mihailo Mudryk.
You read my mind. Damn.
Yeah.
Get out of my head.
Yeah. There's a lot of players. Kai Havertz has the same amount of goals and more goal involvements than Marcus Rashford. Just saying. He's been awful this season. He had one chance. It was I wouldn't say it was easy. It was pretty difficult. And he just put it wide. Didn't even put it on target. But that was it. Like, other than that,
it was again. He had like Kyle Walker on him, and he kind of delayed his volley. And I remember that one.
If you would have told me he was playing in this match before that, I wouldn't have believed you. But I will say the bright spots for United in this one, Christian Eriksen was good. I mean, when does he ever play bad, to be honest? Harry Maguire, stud right now. He's consistent. He's not making mistakes. And then Onana, I mean, I can't say enough about how much he saved United from complete embarrassment in this match.
I think we need to have a separate podcast where we just talk about United, because I think we could go for another 20 minutes on that.
Probably. But, just to make sure we don't, I'll turn the tables. Is it a player problem or is it a Ten Hag problem at United right now?
I think it could be turning into a Ten Hag problem.
Is he the right man for the job?
Those are questions for a different time, man, where we have time to talk about it.
Fair. I'll say this really quick. I mean, they got a worse goal difference than Everton. They're sitting 8th. He spent £334.6 million. His own players. The excuses can't really stop because he's 3% better win percentage than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'll stop. For time's sake.
Because, there's another game we got to move on to that will probably make another 15 minutes to talk about. And
Probably.
that's El Clasico, man. We had Real Madrid and Barcelona playing. This was a big one. We have to cover this one. El Clasico. This is one of my favorite rivalries.
The 255th edition of El Clasico.
This one, it ended 2-1 to Real Madrid. Who picked Real Madrid to win? And
You
to
did.
win this week in picks?
You did.
It was this game right here.
Nice.
Thank you, Jude Bellingham.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to see João Cancelo starting out on the right.
It was. So, yeah, he started out in the right wing with Ferran Torres and João Felix up top. You had Gundogan, Gavi, and Fermin Lopez in that midfield. Bade, Christensen, Martinez, and Jules Koundé in defense. I'm glad Fermin Lopez got the start. Gavi, honestly,
between the two of them, man, would
have been a man of the match performance if not for the last 20 minutes.
I would even say if it wasn't for some sheer individual brilliance.
There you go. Because, I mean, Barca, man, they got up early. Ilkay Gundogan got up in the 6th minute, scores. It was a weird ball that kind of bounced. Like 3 Madrid defenders were looking at it saying, you get it.
Yeah. And then
you got it.
I don't think I've ever seen him run that fast, but good for him.
Gundogan was like, no, I got it.
Yeah.
Took a little bit of a lucky bounce.
He's now scored in El Clasico, Der Klassiker, and the Manchester Derby. So
he did get a little bit of a lucky bounce. David Alaba went to go slide tackle, kind of kicked it off his shins, and it fell right back into his path. But honestly, Barca, they played so well for the first 60 minutes.
I mean, I'll pretty much say the turning point in this match, because otherwise, I think Barca probably would have won 1-0 again, and it was when Camavinga and Luka Modric came in.
So yeah, Camavinga came on for Ferland Mendy, Modric came on for Toni Kroos, and it did. So I will say Camavinga especially Camavinga on that left side, man. He definitely made a difference. On his
head, man.
And it took, I mean, again, you guys should be following us on our social medias. We talk about this goal. It is a wonder goal. It was a bullet from Jude Bellingham.
It's a Jude Bellingham goal. Do you expect anything less to this point?
Not at this point, man. Like, I'm waiting for this fairy tale to end or turn dark. It's not. He gets that first goal, golazo. Oh my damn. It was chef's kiss. Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, back to goal, turns around, 2 touches, 20 yards out, top corner.
Blasts it.
Yeah.
A rocket, bullet, whatever you want to call it.
And
from
looked
the deep.
So effortless for how hard he hit it, too. Nuts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was nothing Ter Stegen. It was by Ter Stegen before he can even react.
At this point, honestly, I think Real Madrid should just play him as striker. Because his finishing is just as good.
So, in all competitions, 13 goals in 13 games.
And 3 assists. So, 16 goal involvements in 13 games.
So, just to put that into some perspective, Zinedine Zidane's best season at Real Madrid was 13 goals. Jude Bellingham has tied that in October.
Yeah. After, 11 games in the league? Or is it 13 at this point?
It's 10. It's 10 games in the league.
Okay. Yeah. And then 3 Champions League matches. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
And Jude Bellingham would get the winner, man. Classic. Stoppage time, 92nd minute. A cross goes in. I think it was definitely meant for Modric.
Yeah.
Tries to get a touch on it. And it kind of bounces.
Takes a touch.
No, it was Modric. It was Modric. It was Modric who takes a touch, and it bounces over Andreas Christensen and falls to Bellingham, and he gets something on it. That's the most you can ask for in that kind of weird position, and off of a deflection, you're just trying to get something on the ball towards goal. He does.
Towards goal, yeah.
Goes through Ter Stegen's legs. 92nd minute.
Like I said, just play him as a striker, man. He's already in those positions. Just let him play there.
Like you said, man, positions. He's getting in those dangerous positions, getting in the box. Is it luck? Is it skill?
No, he's the only one. The
It's a
only
little bit
one
of
for
both.
Real Madrid taking the
It's a little bit
initiative.
of both. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
a little bit of both. I mean, obviously, it takes a lucky deflection for him, but he's making that run.
he's there. Yeah, you got to be there to finish it.
I think one of the differences for me in this game was Real Madrid. They brought on the likes of Joselu, Luka Modric, Camavinga, a little bit of experience, whereas Barcelona brought on Oriol Romeu, who obviously I don't think is up to that class. Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, who I have very, very many criticisms of.
Me too.
And so that's where I think the edge goes to Real Madrid. I mean, in this game, like we had mentioned before, there's some Vinny Jr., man. I want to talk about Vinny Jr. in this game. I think he played fucking awful. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
That
nine
first
times out of
half
10,
was terrible.
nine times out of
Terrible.
10, he is the most entertaining player to watch in the world. But the 10th time, which is this one, holy crap, was he bad. He complained about everything. Every time he got
Everything.
touched. Everything.
Yeah,
And then
it
he
was
even
bad.
got on a bust up with Xavi. And Xavi's just saying, dude, shut up.
It was pretty much. That's pretty much what it was like, dude, get up. That wasn't a foul.
Yeah,
And
shut
Vinny
up.
Jr. just
Play
kind
the
of crying
game.
about it. I didn't like to see it because I do like watching him play, but Barcelona, they had their injury woes. No Pedri, no De Jong, no Sergio Roberto. Lewandowski, Rafinha were on the bench, came on. Didn't do anything, if I'm being honest.
Lewandowski had one chance. Came close, but that was it. And I mean, I'll be honest. Barcelona probably were the better team in this, and it was a couple strokes of individual brilliance and some luck. Real Madrid get the win.
Yeah, I would say Barca were the better team for a majority of the game. Controlled it. Like I was wondering, because like I said, I had picked Real Madrid to win this game, and I didn't feel confident going into that at halftime, the way Barcelona were playing. But that moment of brilliance by Bellingham, all of a sudden momentum changes, and I will say this was kind of a story of Real Madrid capitalizing on their opportunities, and Barca did not.
Yep. And that's why you got to build upon a 1-0 lead. Plain and simple.
But yeah, Jude Bellingham, kind of the star of the show, man, making La Liga look easy.
Making it look easy. And, what do you guys think? Is he the best player in the world right now? Let us know down in the
definitely has
comments.
a shout out for that Ballon d'Or. I will tell you that. So
Let us know down in the
far.
comments.
It's very early, but so far.
All right, moving on. I know you guys have been with us for a long time, but we got to get to the spooky stuff. This is a Halloween special. So, the top 10 scariest players in football. Beware, for these footballing phantoms are ready to unleash their supernatural talents on the pitch, leaving a trail of fear in their wake. Targo, you want to just go with top 5?
I'm going to go my top 10, and then I'll let you do your top 10, okay?
Okay.
Let's just do that. Let me give you mine real quick. And no, Roy Kent is not on it.
Should be.
Should be.
So
my number 10... Whistle! He's here. He's there. He's every fucking where. Where Kent? Roy Kent. So my number 10 is Jaap Stam. You might remember this defender, and so I'm going to be honest. I don't really remember watching him play very much. I just remember this motherfucker was scary looking.
Yeah.
Scary Dutch defender, big, the bald head. I'm pretty sure he had the goatee.
Pale. Yep.
Just
very
gnarly
pale.
looking, man.
Yeah.
Kind of what makes him bad. He had a 5-month ban due to... He got a 5-month ban due to a substance in his system, and he was just...
Performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah. My number 9 is Thomas Gravesen. Might remember him from his Everton days in the Premier League, or maybe when he went to Real Madrid. He was famously known for taking out his own players in training, looking at Robinho, and just also kind of looked like a tough guy, man. I think he was Danish, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
Some Scandinavian country. Number 8, I got Diego Simeone. He was a very tenacious midfielder back in the day, and not much has changed from becoming a manager.
Not at all.
Very eccentric.
I mean, he wears all black every match. All
He's
black.
scary looking,
Every
man.
night.
He's intimidating, I will say.
Have you seen his hair lately? It looks like he just got out of bed. He's like, I don't even care. I'm still gonna
And his
fuck you
all
guys
black
up.
suits.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do
Or
love
like he
those
stuck
suits,
his
man.
finger in an electrical outlet.
My number 7 is a big striker, Duncan Ferguson, Everton man. He was a big man for Everton there, man, up front, tough as nails. The only reason he's on my list is because of this story right here, where 2 burglars broke into his home. One escaped, the other was hospitalized for 3 days.
Yep. Yeah.
That's a scary guy.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't do the research on this, but is he the father of one Ferguson that plays for Brighton right now?
Oh, I don't know. Actually, I do not know that.
Okay, you keep going. I'll look it up.
Okay, I'll move to my number 6, who is a fucking karate master, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Not only is he one of the most gifted players with scary skill, but he was also known to getting a few bust-ups here and there. He had one with Joey Barton, you might remember. He had one with United where his head got stepped on and then he threw a fat elbow. He had some with LA where someone stepped on him, so he stomped on them back. I know there's a famous viral video between him and Eric Bailly at his Manchester days where Bailly kind of threw some fists up in his face and Zlatan got serious and Bailly crumbled under pressure. I was like, I'm just joking, man. I'm just joking. But yeah, pretty sure he has as many bust-ups as goals. And he has a lot of goals.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of goals. Go back. It's Barry Ferguson is his father. Former Celtic player. Not Duncan.
Not Duncan. Oh.
Not really.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
My number 5 is Zizou, Zinedine Zidane. Not only was he gifted with scary skill, but he was also known to lose his temper every once in a while. Looking at you, Marco Materazzi. Famously known for that headbutt at the World Cup final.
Caving in his chest.
Yeah, dude, he did cave in his chest. My number 4, honestly, this one might be my favorite player on my list. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. He is known for that quote, Gennaro Gattuso, however you pronounce it, the Italian enforcer. He was the only player to go toe-to-toe with Zlatan. And he famously slapped him in the face.
Yep.
You also might recall a Champions League game where he went up, I believe it was a Spurs coach, and put his hands around his neck, choking him.
Yep.
He was a very tenacious defensive midfielder, tough as nails. I would have hated to have played against him. That's all I can say.
I'd hate to meet him in a dark alley now.
Yes.
Speaking
my number
of dark
3.
Alleys.
My number 3 is an X-Men character, the Juggernaut, Vinnie Jones. He was known as a hard man. The guy would literally grab you by the balls. By the balls. Give your balls a tug, guy. He was sent off 12 times in his career, and yeah. Any guy who does that to your balls, get out of here. No. My number 2 is Pepe. I mean, the guy has so many red cards for bad tackles.
So many. I don't understand why he doesn't have criminal charges.
Well, he once received a 10-match ban for assault on a player. Assault. Literally assaulted a player. 10-match ban. You've seen the videos of him out there stomping on players' heads, on their legs, wherever he can get those studs.
One of the dirtiest players of all time.
Yes. But my number 1, I think this is why he's my number 1, because I would have hated to have played against him the most, because he would go out to hurt you, and I hated those kinds of players. Roy Keane.
Yeah, one famous character that one famous player that you've quoted a bunch in this episode is actually based off of this man. Roy Kent is based off of Roy Keane.
The guy would literally cut people in half with his tackles, man. He hurt loads of players, ending careers. And he was also nasty with the Irish national team coach, Mike McCarthy, saying he didn't rate him as a player and he doesn't rate him as a manager.
And then he said, "Fuck your World Cup" right after that too. I remember. That was
And he
one
would
of my
just
favorite press conferences of all time.
wild, completely wild.
Great.
And like I said, he would literally go out to hurt you.
I mean, we
That's
remember his
scary.
bust-ups with Patrick Vieira in the tunnel, didn't even
In
make it onto
tunnels,
the
yeah.
field. And then it did it on the field too. Yeah, man, he was a tough one.
Yeah. Roy Keane's my number 1. But those are my 10 scariest players. Let me hear yours, buddy.
All right. I'm going to start at number 10, a guy that is a counter to one of yours in Marco Materazzi.
Oh.
Man, this man is a phantom menace. He was the actual master of the dark arts of football. He was a threat everywhere. Sent off 4 times in his one and only season in England with Everton. And he's the one who provoked Zinedine Zidane getting red carded himself for calling his sister a whore.
Definitely Voldemort, Master of the Dark Arts. Yes.
Number 9 is also one of yours, Zlatan, who is famously nicknamed the Balkan Demon, Ibrahimovic. Literally his nickname.
Karate Master.
I mean, he is famous for getting in altercations with players like Romelu Lukaku, Rafael van der Vaart while he was at Ajax, Tyrone Mings, Mito, Jap Stam, Marco Materazzi, Oguchi Onweyu. I mean, he knocked Materazzi out with a taekwondo kick, sending him to the hospital.
Oh, wasn't it like to his chest or something? I do remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
It was the AC Milan Inter days, I believe.
Yes, it was.
I do remember
Number
that.
8, the vampire himself, Luis Suarez.
How could I forget Luis Suarez?
He's known for sinking his teeth into opponents, as
I need
well
to change
as
my list.
His attacking ability. The creature of the night. He's known for biting. I mean, he was suspended 7 games for biting Otman Bakal on the shoulder. Playing for Liverpool, he was also suspended 10 games for biting Chelsea's Bratislav Ivanovic. And then in the World Cup for Uruguay, yeah. And he wasn't even punished. He got away with it.
I forgot about Suarez. He was punished.
Yeah.
No, he got.
There's going to be a couple. Going to be a couple on this list, my friend.
I forgot about Suarez.
Damn. You're going to have the same reaction. You ready? Nigel de Jong. The Flying Dutchman.
Xabi Alonso in the World Cup.
Yes, in the 2010 World Cup final, he would be remembered for one thing. And it was absolutely picking apart players.
Just straight up Sparta kick Xabi Alonso.
Flying karate kick against Xabi Alonso. Yeah. And apparently wasn't deemed a red card offense by Howard Webb. Now we know why PGMOL is awful. He would later be dropped from the Dutch team partially because of his extraordinarily bad disciplinary record. Weird. Another one not on your list. Sergio Ramos.
Ooh.
Yes.
I don't know if I think him scary, but
he's known as no nonsense defender.
He is.
He was in a charity match recently where he had to pull out of a tackle because he realized it was a charity match, and he slid about 20 yards and then pulled out of the tackle. I mean, just ask Mo Salah. Remember when he took him out for a calculated challenge? He's picked up more cards, albeit yellow or red, than any other player in the history of La Liga, the Champions League, or the Spanish national team. Fun fact.
Interesting, yeah.
Okay. Number 5. You probably don't really remember Stuart Pearce. His nickname is Psycho.
Manager of Man City at one point.
At one point. Former Nottingham Forest and England left back, nicknamed Psycho, not because he loved the Oscar-nominated movie.
He was crazy looking, too. He had a
ferocious, no-nonsense tackling style and intimidating presence on the field. The man was nuts. Nuts. Go look him up. Number 4, Eric Cantona.
Oh, I forgot about him, yep.
Yeah. On the night of January 25th, 1995, they were playing against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park in the Premier League. He got a red card for kicking Palace defender Richard Shaw in the face. And then the situation went from bad to worse as he went into the stands and
I do remember that, yeah. Kicked some
apparently
fans.
later on identified as Matthew Simmons fan. He kung fu style kicked and punched the fan.
Yeah.
He even called Michel Platini a bag of shit live on TV. And then there's also his Ballon d'Or speeches that we won't even get into. So, number 3, Pepe, the Portuguese man of war. I'm not even going to go into him because you already did it. But there is the one time you talked about where he got 10-game ban. It was when he puts his studs, stepped on a player's back, and then punched a defender, and then in the ensuing melee. And then, yeah, because the ref gave the other team a penalty. So, for Getafe. Number 3, Gennaro Gattuso. I can't say enough about him, man. He was scary on the field, even though
I loved
his
him, though,
stature,
man. I gotta
I
say.
love him. I mean, not many players would take him on, but Zlatan did. Joe Jordan did. I mean, he had famous altercations with him, and then he even slapped Zlatan in the face and headbutted Joe Jordan. So, who's Scottish, by the way. Number 2, you're number 1, Roy Keane.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. He ended, I'm just going to say it because you didn't say it. He ended Erling Haaland's dad's career. Did you know that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Ended
Opening a
careers.
Haaland
That
at
was
Old
Roy
Trafford, 2001, literally cut him in half. Literally. And then number 1, I don't think you gave him enough credit, man. Vinnie Jones. This man is
I called him the
absolutely
Juggernaut.
terrifying on screen as he was on the pitch. This man was a part of the crazy gang of AFC Wimbledon in the late 80s. He knew every dirty trick in the book, including grabbing people by the balls, but that was his preferred method of torture.
Terrible.
He did get kicked out of football for too much violent conduct.
Wild.
In the prime of his career. You know how much that takes?
Wild.
The only player I've ever seen have that happen to them. But what do you guys think?
Yes.
Who is the scariest player that you have ever seen?
Let us know in the comments, guys. Make sure you're following us on the TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Join our Facebook group. Check out our Redbubble. Get the merch. But what a week of football it was. City take the Manchester Derby. Madrid take El Clasico. Arsenal cruise to victory against Sheffield. Chelsea fall back to earth. And Liverpool are looking good. Can't wait to see what next week brings. On that note, we love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. As always, cheers.